All right, and here we are, another week around the trash fire. Your host, Mathias, along with the boy.
John.
A late start this week. What
Yes,
happens
but we
when...
caught we caught some very crazy 30K news.
Got a lot of news that's pretty crazy for this Tuesday.
hmm
But that's what happens when, life happens. Things get a little bit busy. Schedules have to be moved.
Yes.
So, I think we just jump right into this, shall we?
Cool.
Starting off with some, non-tabletop news. The Bolt Gun trailer, aka Classic Doom 40K, is coming out this year. They put out a trailer last year, a long time ago. I think it was on a floppy disk. Was what they were trying to,
Yeah.
what it was, if I recall. But yeah, this game is coming out this year, the 23rd of next month of May. So I don't know how you are FPS wise, if you care at all.
Well, this is hype. I'm getting this. It's a very just like a low brain power 40K shooter. Like just like Doom, you don't have to worry about grinding or like leveling up or open worldness. You just kind of walk forward, shoot the demons or the Chaos Marines, and you're kind of good to go.
You do what you do are programmed to do as a space marine.
Yep.
Point and shoot.
So it's actually pretty hype for especially for 10th edition.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, pretty retro. So that is coming out again next month, May 23rd, or you can pre-order it now if you really want to. I did see it in Steam. Just that classic Doom pose. It's nice. Other news, something we haven't talked about in a while. Old World. Now I know you're very
Yes.
hyped about this. You want to go ahead and explain?
So this is nuts, actually. This is like actual news for once. So if you look at the picture, what do you see?
I see regiment standard for classic Bretonian formation.
You see Bretonians, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these were painted this year by the studio, these models, which means that they're probably coming back.
Except my Tomb Kings. Rest in peace.
Well, Tomb Kings might come back actually because of the fact that they're bringing Bretonians back. We might see those kits like the Necrosphinx or the Sepulchral Stalkers and all that. I mean, they brought back plastic Knights of the Realm. They won't do this if they're not going to sell this. Games. I mean, we all know Games Workshop is very marketing. Well, I don't want to say their marketing is amazing, but they only really show models that you could buy. Like they won't. They don't advertise things you can't give them money to get. So this tells me that they're gonna, at the very least, be re-releasing these plastic Knights of the Realm, and they even name drop. We're gonna see a new unit, which is the Foot Knights, which we didn't have a unit before for the Bretonian army. So that's kind of crazy that they're bringing, and they also show the militiamen or the Bretonian, what's their official name? The I just
Peasants.
call them militia, the Pleasant Militia, and the Bowmen, and the Pegasus Knights. Like they painted all of these like either this year or last year, which means that they had to bust these out or remake them for all we know. And again, this tells me that they're going to be selling these guys because once again, the Games Workshop only really advertises models that they're gonna sell to you. So this actually hypes me up for Old World. This makes me want to play Old World because I know that there is going to be model support that's not just resin garbage from Forge World. Like we're going to see some plastic models, and I think they mentioned that before, but seeing it is pretty nice. And the implication underneath is the Tomb Kings are going to be back. I don't know about the old skeletons because those were trash, but the cool stuff like the Necropolis Knights, like I mentioned earlier, Sepulchral Stalkers, Necrosphinx, Tomb Guard, holy cow, like they could be coming back.
That would be nice.
Yeah. And this is realistic now. I mean, we've all made fun of Old World for the past like 10 years, not 10 years, 5 years. maybe not even 5, a few years ago, that nothing's really happening. And this is, to me, like, this is like, here's the models, because that's always we've been complaining about. And every time I talk to Will, it's like, where's the old world models? You know, we see art, cool, that's cute. We see maps, that's even worse. But here's models, and I know they're not new models, but these were out of print for almost 5 years now since Fantasy died, quote unquote, and they're coming back. So what I don't know what else is coming back. It's kind of exciting, actually. The other piece of news from this article is they're increasing the base size, which, you know, sucks for people who have fantasy armies, because if you look at the peasants, they're going to be in 25 mil bases, and they used to be in 20 mil bases. So they're increasing the base size. So you gotta rebase your things if you want to play in events and stuff. Now, if you're playing at home, it's not going to matter, right? And you could probably, I'm sure some third-party company is going to make like a regiment tray where you could slot in your 20 millimeter bases, so you can play Old World, which is super cool. I think so. I think you're not as screwed, actually. Take back what I said. You're not as screwed if you don't want to rebase your models. I think there'll be third-party support making custom, even just 3D printed files of custom base trays where you could slot in your 20 millimeter bases to match a 25 millimeter regiment size, right? Regiment tray. Now, it does mean that AOS cross compatibility is that's kind of screwed, because AOS models are moving. Well, 40K and AOS models are moving towards more the 28 millimeter base size. So, you know, I was talking to some friends about how, like, oh, dude, if you could take your AOS models, you could just couldn't make some base converters. Well, no, not really, because 25 millimeters is smaller than 28, and 28 millimeter circle models are not gonna be able to fit in any 25 millimeter conversions, which kind of sucks. Now, the other way around is possible. You could probably connive a way where you could fit a 25 mil base into a 28 mil circle slot. Maybe that's possible. I don't know. I don't have my protractor here to see if that's mathematically possible, but maybe that's a thing. I don't know. Either way, I don't see a lot of cross compatibility between AOS and the old world, which is fine. I like my games being separate at this point. But yeah, this is nuts, man. Like, this actually is hyping me for old world. I am gonna do some Empire. And I believe, speaking of bases, they also increased the base size for the Bretonnian cavalry.
Sure did.
Yeah, they talk about rules. I just don't care. Whatever. Like, I'm sure the game's gonna be fine. But holy cow, Old World is coming back. I mean, these are old models, but hey, they work at some degree. And the base size increase makes them less smush. They actually look kind of cool. I'm looking at these peasants. They actually look kind of nice, spread apart like that. Like, before, they look too squished in the regiment. So this is exciting. This is definitely exciting.
Well, I'm surprised they don't have the base trays.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're gonna. I mean, the thing with the base trays is they force you to rank up a specific way. Actually, honestly, in my opinion, I thought the base trays with empty bases in the back was kind of ugly. Made the game look weird. I don't think they're coming back to that, to be honest. I think they're
I think
gonna.
they're coming back with that, because that's moving an army like this, regimented style. You're gonna have the movement trays.
Nah, because if you need movement,
That's a big thing about fantasy.
well, Warhammer Fantasy isn't for everyone. That's my elitist comment there. I don't know. Maybe they'll be back. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, this is crazy. This is hype.
Oh, there we go. Some actual news from the old world, which isn't gonna be the last time we're gonna talk about the old world in this podcast show today. But before we get to that, let's go ahead and go to our classic Sunday preview, which isn't much. It is, I think, just this box set of the
Yep.
Lizardmen.
Just the skinks and the saurus and the slan. That's it.
That's
Well,
it.
if you want to play Lizardmen or Seraphon, here you go.
Get
It's
your
coming.
get your book early.
Get your book early, get your models early, which also tells me that it's gonna come quicker than we anticipate. And yeah,
I still do not like this practice.
Yeah, I still don't know how I feel about it.
I hate this practice. It's really bad. I mean, I know why they do it. I know why, but I don't like it. I feel everything should just be released at once. I mean, the models, they can parse out whatever. That I'm used to, but making it so that people can get the book early and then by only selling the special edition, I don't like that. But yeah, there we go. We're
Yeah.
getting that. Titanicus Compendium.
This is actually super cool. It's essentially all the rules from all the Titanicus supplements combined into one giant book. I love this. I wish 30K would have this eventually, but this kind of signals like the end of a series of books, I think, because it's just gonna have the books that were released so far in one space. I mean, it's great. I'm probably gonna pick this up just so I have everything in one book, so I don't have, when I play Titanicus, I just need to carry two books, the rule book and this book. So
Well,
yeah, this is super cool. I like this.
does that
This is
mean
great for
Titanicus
special
2 is
skins.
coming out soon?
Either that or they're killing the game and calling it complete. Well, not killing it, just calling it complete, which I'm fine with. The game is great. The models are amazing. It does its job. I mean, Titanicus is one of those games among many specialist games where it just does its job really well. Like if you want a game of Titan combat with crunchy rules, yeah, it'll do that for you. Like, I kind of have no complaints about Titanicus as a game.
Oh, there we go. So we got that. Some weapons, Black Library, getting some audiobooks. And then Warhammer Plus, Battle Report with the Lion, some Salon, Lore Master, and then Black Talon. I think was the Sigmarine one, right?
So I watched that. It's actually quite good. The animation is way better than Hammer and Bolter. It's actually kind of smooth. I mean, the story is it's just pretty simple Warhammer story, and actually kind of interesting. It involves a Stormcast killing a civilian without remorse, but it's it's pretty solid. I think this is the kind of animation where if Warhammer Plus launched with this, it would be widely praised instead of just lukewarm receive have a lukewarm reception at best. So yeah, I do actually recommend, and AOS content is great when it happens. So I actually recommend Black Talon after having seen episode 1. I recommend it.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know. Though, don't really have anywhere else to put this, so I'll just talk about it right here. Did you hear about the Lion debacle?
I did. I was part of that kind of ish, not really.
Were you able to get your Lion?
Heck no. Freaking thing sold out like instantly.
Yeah, it was quite a surprise. We haven't had one of these debacles in quite a while.
Yeah, the last time was a 30K novel. It's actually kind of crazy. Even the standard novel sold out. Like, not even. I mean, obviously, the limited edition novel sold out, and that makes sense. But the standard novel also sold out within the hour that the website crashed. So, I mean, I wasn't planning on picking it up. In all honesty, I just wanted to see if I actually want to get the novel. So I wasn't waiting or anything. I was just kind of chilling in NorCal, and I was like, oh, it's like 10:30. Let's see if the website's up. Nope, it crashed. And then I came back like 10:50 or something, and it's like, oh, it's back, and the lion's gone.
And
So
it's gone.
and it's gone. Now thankfully, you're not screwed forever. If you didn't get the lion, he will come out on his own.
Yeah, give
But
me
if
like
you
2 weeks.
could be 2 weeks, could be 2 months, who knows?
Oh
But
no,
it's
they
kind
said
of
he's
nuts,
coming out
man.
pretty soon.
I hope so. It's kind of nuts how people actually like. I went on eBay. There were people bidding like 300 pounds for the lion. It's like, dude, it's he's coming. Like,
Yeah, it was
I
the
mean,
scalper prices are
I know
insane.
I know people who drop $500 on a single Magic card, but at least that has scarcity. Like the lion has kind of no scarcity because he's coming back, and the Blade Guard are coming back. I mean, the only thing not coming back is the art piece in that box, which is, a cardboard art piece of Angron and the lion fighting. Like, okay, but that's not what people are scalping it. But yeah, it kind of blows my mind sometimes that people don't want to wait, at earliest 2 weeks, and they're willing to spend 3, 4, 5 times the price of a kit to get it now. So, anyways,
You just don't understand. They want to play with their little plastic man
like
right
now,
now.
yeah, I want to play it right now.
It's worth that 300 USD or that 250 pound just to get. Yeah, but that was the lion debacle. We can move on from this story to 30K news. So we got some Imperial Militia joins the Horus Heresy.
Yes, finally these guys came out. And I know I've been mentioning that I wish this was a book release because the PDF would be not very well written. Well, I am glad to say I'm wrong. This is a well thought out PDF. Now, I don't know how strong these guys are or if they're gonna upset the balance of the game. I mean, obviously I think their existence will make people rethink their armies if they're trying to make a quote unquote competitive or take all comers force, just because of how different they are from Space Marines conceptually. But that said, regardless of their strength or weakness, it's very flavorful as a list. It literally, you could make anything with this list, anything from a cultist horde of chaos worshippers. You could make a standard Imperial Army regiment. You could make an elite force using the Cadian models because that kind of pattern armor was used in the Heresy, and you could use your Cadian models as is. There's rules for that, and I'm not just saying like, oh, you could use your Cadians and your Catachans using with the same kind of rules. Like, no, like there's actually different rules if you want to make your dudes more close combat like, or if you want to make your dudes more cultist like, or if you want to make your dudes more elite with special weapon access. So you could do that. You could do a Beastmen horde, like literally with Beastmen. You can make a squat army with your Votan models. This is very customizable and very flavorful. And just the way they present the rules. For example, if you do squats, it doesn't say like squat army, this is what you get for being squats. No, you essentially you pick like two quote unquote, like think of it as chapter tactics for your army, kind of like how you could do custom chapter tactics in 40K. But for example, if I want to make Votan, right, I would probably pick where to go, so they're called provenances. I would pick the Kinfolk Helots Providence. What it does, it gives +1 toughness to all your units, but -1 initiative and -1 movement. Kind of represent like stocky but slower infantry, which makes sense for squats, and they also get the ability to repair vehicles and all that. And so I would combine that with probably where's the other one here? The Armory of Old, is this here? Where is it? Yeah, Armory of Old Knight one, which lets you take Volkite rifles or needle pistols as in your force to represent, the kind of esoteric weapons the Votan have. You could pick something like, I don't know, Feral Warriors and Tainted Flesh to make a Beastmen army. So your army gets +1 weapon skill, and they have to charge if they're within range, and they get fear and furious charge, right? There's even one that it's kind of fun. It's called Unending Horde. It gives your infantry a 4-up to just come back in the battlefield if they die or whatever, or you could just remove them and come back. Yeah, and there's a lot of new unit types too. Most of them are kind of represent the ramshackle nature of this army. For example, there's a new unit type called Third Line, which makes it that if you have a vehicle, all glancing hits count as penetrating hits because your vehicles, aren't the best. They're just kind of second rate excess Costco stock kind of thing. But also at the same time, you don't offer victory points for killing those models. There's also another one where Well, it's not a subtype, but it's for your infantry. You could take like a basic squad of 20 dudes. You could take an elite squad of 10 dudes with better stats. You could take a squad of 20 conscripts, and it's funny because the conscripts are stupid cheap. They're like, let's see, where are they? It's 40 points. No, it's not 40 points. Why am I in elites? I should be in troops. Here we go. It's 40 points for 20 guys. And you could have 3 of them in one troop slot. So you could have, what, 3 times 3, 180 times 6. Yeah, you could have a lot of infantry. And you could have 50 of them in a squad. They're 2 points each. So for, what is that, 30 times 2, 60. So for 100 points, you get 50 guys. And yeah, you could have like 300 models for what, 600 points. That's stupid cheap. But they have a rule where if you fail a morale check, they immediately just die because they all run away immediately. So it's super flavorful. Now, is that good? Probably not, but it's super flavorful for conscripts. And you have access to Lehman Russes. You can actually have access to the cargo ridge hauler from the Necromunda range as a giant transport. But again, it's third line, so any glancing hits count as penetrating hits. You can get stuff like the Arbites transport. You can get Ogryns. You can get field artillery with all the new Imperial Guard models. Yeah, you get Sentinels. You can get war beasts like doggos and birds and all that, and alligators. Yeah, this is if you miss the old days, and I don't want to sound like a graybeard because I hate graybeards, of the old days of 40k where you could make your own army and theme it in the way you want and have the rules to back that theme up. Like, this is the list. You literally can make a Votan army, and it's not just like, oh, I'm just counts as my Solar Ox as Votan. Like, no, like they actually feel like squats. If you want to make, again, like a cultist horde, the rules help with that. If you want to have artillery, if you want to have tank squadrons, yeah, like this is great. This is one of those things that kind of epitomize 30k in a good way. That it's all about the narrative and the theme of your army, not necessarily how it performs on the table. And thankfully, with that said, the rules don't seem that stupid. Like the Baneblade is actually pointed correctly. It's 400 points instead of like 800 in the other PDF for a weird or not weird, like a weaker vehicle because it's a militia Baneblade, right? Yeah, this is awesome. I love this. Am I gonna use this? No, I already have Solar Auxilia, but a lot of 30k players are in the local community are like, oh yeah, I want to use this. I want to make some custom human armies. Like, heck yeah, now I really want to work on my Solar Auxilia because it's gonna be a fun time with my Health High Guard fighting the cultist hordes or whatever. Yeah, this is awesome, and this makes up for the crappy Heresy Thursdays we've had for sure. It's another new army for Heresy, and if you have Guard, I mean, you could probably make an orc army with this and have it feel actually kind of orky. Not, obviously not as much as an actual orc list, which I don't think is going to happen, but it could work, right? So, yeah, this is great. 10 out of 10.
Well, I'm glad we got some good news out of that.
Also, sorry, one more thing. It's free.
It is free, which is a little surprising, but since this is Forge World. But that's also a net positive for GW. Yep. Really sticking to that, that free model that they're going with right now.
Yeah, for some of their rules.
So very cool there. And then of course we got Heresy Thursday, which is a librarian. Look at that. I don't know how I feel about this model, to be honest, but maybe because I'm so used to the extravaganza that is 40k and how their model designs are right now.
Sorry, are you talking about the 30k librarian or the 40k librarian?
The 30k one.
30k one, yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, on one hand, it's plain, but it's kind of... I want to say lazy, because it seems like, and I don't know this for sure because I don't make 3D models that get turned into physical models, but it seems that they took the file for the Praetor from the Age of Darkness box and just changed it a bit. Like even the leg trim is in very similar spots. The arm, the body shape is very similar. The posing is quite similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just feels kind of lazy. Now, am I mad about this model? No, I'm glad he exists. Now we got if you want a librarian and just you don't want to convert and you just want a librarian. I mean, he's resident Forge World for all what that's worth, but he's there, right? Here's a librarian. But I agree with your sentiment. He's kind of on the plain side for a librarian, especially compared again to the Age of Darkness Praetors, who look way fancier than this guy.
Yeah, it's a bit sad. I would expect a little more pizzazz, just given since it's a character, but it is what it is, I guess, with the limitation of fine or resin. Yeah, they gotta steal some of that GW plastic, Forge World. Get your character some more pizzazz. But yep, there's that. At least it's not another tank.
Yes,
Are you more disappointed in that?
No, at least this guy is. It's a cool design, and I can see myself picking up eventually if I need a librarian. And librarians are freaking amazing in 30K. You want to shut off those reactions like Overwatch, or you want to pin stuff. They're very useful. They're not OP, but they're very useful. So yeah, I'm glad he exists. He's probably gonna be in my collection at some point, but I have like no hype for him, if that makes sense. I'm glad he exists, but I have no hype for him.
Yeah, I understand that feeling. But it's time to move on to the I don't know if I said this. Oh yeah, the Arbites are getting their own special rules for 40K. I'll just summarize it. They're okay. Probably not going to be worth taking in current edition right now. Just because it's just they're not really like powerful. So I don't really see them being a must take unit kind of deal. Obviously maybe you could take them via score some objectives in the back, kind of like cultist idea kind of thing, if you're taking like Custodes or whatever. But I think you can use different points for better units. It's also going to be Imperial Agents special rule, which have you heard how these are going to be working out?
No.
It's kind of like the epic heroes. You could take a maximum of X depending on the size of the game.
Oh, interesting.
So incursions you can only take one. Strike Force only one. Two, sorry, with 2 character units, and then Onslaught 3 retinue units with 3 characters. So you kind of have to have a character with this, which probably is going to incentivize Inquisitors to probably run around with some of this stuff as well, which is going to be later on in another article. But yeah, Agents of the Imperium kind of stomping out the souping and kind of going back to previous editions where they're trying to focus more on the solo army. Is that the right word to use? Solo faction identity. I don't know the word I'm looking for there, but yeah, you're not gonna have a bunch of mishmash of units going around together. You're gonna have it more centralized themed. So I mean, Arcs of Omen kind of quash the all souping of armies, and so It'll be interesting to see where Agents of the Imperium will stand. That's also something we didn't mention. Agents of the Imperium box also sold out pretty fast too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great kill team set if you play kill team because you get two kill teams in there. Not only do you get two kill teams, you get like the full experience with the Navy Breachers. You get all the extra special weapons and all that, so you could have three special weapons ready to go for your kill team, not just one. If you have one box,
Yeah,
yeah, it's great.
yeah, that's how. Overall thoughts on the Arbites, they're okay. I don't think they're gonna be taken too much, given that you're gonna need a character to be leading the Arbites into battle. So they're cheap. The damage is kind of mid. Their saving throws are kind of mid. So that's that. Moving on to more 10th edition news. We got the weapon profiles, more weapon abilities, I should say, being explained. And they're going off with the bolt rifle, giving it the assault and heavy keyword, which is interesting because every edition has always given the weapons a single profile, right? It's always been assault, pistol, heavy, rapid fire. With this one, they're combining two. So, assault weapon is pretty much the same. If you advance, which is basically running, you can still shoot your weapon, but unless I've misread it, which is possible, it doesn't look like you get any minuses for advancing and shooting weapons anymore, assault weapons anymore.
Yeah, that's true. They just get a different bonus this time.
Yeah,
Oh
so
wait. Yeah, well, no, assault says. Sorry, can you repeat what you said?
no penalty.
Yeah, there's no penalty. You just get to do it, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, so that's gonna make a lot of armies a lot more mobile. Because usually, if you advance, you get the -1. So you usually will use the Space Marine here. You'd be hitting on 4s instead of 3s. And then the other negative is, you can't assault. So maybe you'll be able to advance and charge. Don't know yet. We haven't gone to there yet. I don't think they've said anything about the assault phase yet. But we got that, and then we got the heavy keyword, which is usually if you move with a heavy weapon, it's -1 to hit. Now it's going to be if you do not move, you get +1 to hit. So another interesting aspect that they're adding. So heavy's completely changed its profile.
Yeah, I wonder if that means that heavy weapons have a worse to hit profile, and you get the +1 for some heavy weapons. I guess you get a +1 to hit because before it was -1, but maybe now like a heavy weapon would be ballistics. Like for a Space Marine, it could be ballistics skill 4 up, right? It is interesting though how they categorize the bolt rifle now. There's no longer 3 separate bolt rifles. It's that all bolt rifles share the same profile, where if you stand still, you get +1 to hit, but if you advance, you still get to fire both shots. And maybe it'll have different abilities, like some rapid fire stuff. I don't know, but yeah, they kind of so for Space Marine players, you don't need to worry about modeling your bolt rifles to match the rules now. They just kind of do everything, which is I think is nice for a flavor perspective and just it's less stress of like I need to build the best weapon option.
Yeah, so there we go. W for that. And then we got the Terminator Assault Cannon, devastating wounds, which I think we went over last week. Which
Yeah.
any 6s pretty much give you a mortal wound.
Yep.
So
So
go ahead.
yeah, to be clear, critical wounds and critical hits are essentially a 6 if you roll a 6. So if you roll a 6 to hit, it's a critical hit. Now, critical hits by themselves don't seem to do anything. They just trigger other special rules, it seems. I could be wrong, though. I missed something from the article, but regardless, yeah, a critical hit is a 6 to hit, and a critical wound is a 6 to wound.
Yes. And it doesn't look like it does any additional damage if you get the critical wound. Yeah,
Oh, it inflicts mortal wounds.
it
Yeah.
just inflicts one mortal wound, and then that's it. It's not a additional mortal wound. So probably trying to just simplify that.
Yep.
So basically,
Yeah. So
rending.
6 to wound ignores armor saves. Pretty. It seems that's what it translates to, which is similar to how it worked in previous editions.
Yeah, it's back to rending.
Yep.
So we got that. The melter rifle for the good old God, what are they? Intercessors. No.
The eradicators.
Eradicators, thank you. Are now getting a heavy keyword. So stand still. I don't know if they're still gonna have be able to shoot twice. Special rule. But Melta 2. So weapons with Melta X in their profile. Each time an attack made with that weapon, the unit within half range of that attack damage characteristic is increased by the denoted by X. So basically +2 if they're within half range of their gun. Which I think the melter rifle is nerfed in range. I think it used to be 24, and now it's 18 inches. I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right. I think it used to be 24.
So it's now no longer as strong as a Melta gun? Melta gun's 24. Multi-Melta. There you go. Thank you. Multi-Melta. And they increased the strength by 1. So now it's strength 9 instead of strength 8. AP4, D6 damage. So it's okay. Looks like they're still, they're not as killy as they were in this edition right now, but they're going back to their old roots where you gotta get everything within half range if you want anything to use its max effect now. So it's nice. I like it. And then last off, they finally show something else that's not Space Marine or Tyranids. We get an Eldar. We get a Dark Reaper with Ignore covers and sustain hits 1. So they don't tell us ignore covers, but sustain hits. Each time an attack made with this weapon, critical hit rolls scores an additional hit denoted by the X. So every 6 that is rolled, this Dark Reaper would get an additional attack. So just exploding 6s is pretty much what sustain hits are.
Yep.
And last but not least, Twin Linked is back. We are going back to 7th edition. I could have picked any edition under 8th, but 7th edition. So Twin Linked is basically rerolls. You can reroll attack, wound.
Sorry,
rolls.
excuse me. It is reroll, but yes, it's a wound roll. It used to be hit roll, now it's wound roll.
Yes, but it's no longer. It's no longer double the attacks. So your Bolt, Storm, Gauntlets. It's only 3 attacks. It's not going to be 6 attacks for having 2 of them on your arms there. It's also interesting to see that the Power Fist is also a 4-up, which I think, if I recall, last time on the normal Space Marine it was a 3-up. Oh no, the Terminator was a 3-up. So I wonder why the Aggressor has a harder time with his Power Fist, but maybe it's because he's got giant guns strapped to his arm. Maybe that's why it's so unwieldy. But yeah, we're getting Twin Linked, classic Twin Linked. Well, sorta classic Twin Linked. Instead of rerolling the hits, you're rerolling the wounds.
Yep.
Very good stuff. But then, there is more. They are dropping this information fast. So we got our vehicles. coming back. They said that these things were going to be tougher. So let's go ahead and take a look at our classic Rhino. It is now toughness 9, which feels like a downgrade a little bit. I believe they were toughness 10 last time, but that's fine.
No, I think they were toughness like 6.
Oh, right. I'm thinking something else. You're right, toughness 6. I'm thinking armor value for some reason.
Oh yeah, armor value.
Armor value 10 is what I was
Usually
thinking.
toughness 7, excuse me. Yeah, now they're toughness 9.
Toughness 9. 3 up save. Objective control 2. So it can, can hold some stuff. Let's see. Anything we got here? It's got a self-repair at the end of your command phase. This model can regain 1 lost wound, so if it takes some chip damage, it can just automatically regain 1 wound. So that's nice. Other than that, I don't really see much anything else to worthy to talk about here, other than its toughness went up, so it's not gonna be. It's gonna be a lot harder to kill with bolters, even though you're still wounding them on 6s if 6s still wound everything kind of deal. So we got that. We got the Storm Speeder being upgraded to toughness 9, 11 wounds, and objective control 3. Very nice. Get your speeders out there. We got the Gladiator variant, toughness 10. Free up objective control. It looks like all the vehicles are pretty much going to be 3 or 5 depending on its size here. The repulsor, which is that's just the super tank, right? I'm thinking the impulsor's the transport, right?
Repulsor, yeah.
So yeah, the super put every single gun on me tank. Objective control 5, toughness 12, 16 wounds. Definitely gonna be a beast to contend with. Let's just hope that its price better, and that is it. So it's showing that, and then it mentions, I believe in this article. Is it this article? I guess not. Maybe it was another article. There was an article mentioning that the rail rifle is going to be like strength 20 still, so no need to worry. The Tau will still destroy all your vehicles with its heavy rail gun. But that is that. So the vehicles, they mentioned in previous article that vehicles were going to be tougher to kill, which they should be. It's kind of sad to, when they get destroyed in a single round of lucky bolt fire or shuriken fire kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
When there's supposed to be these, tanks getting killed by normal fire. So, these are just Space Marine tanks, so I don't really care too much about these. I want to see what my my pirate boats are gonna be like with my Dark Eldar.
We'll see.
I'm sure they're gonna go to toughness 7.
Dave, it's higher than before.
Toughness 5 usually, so if these are anything to go by, I would assume the Dark Eldar pirate boats would be like toughness 7. If I had to guess. Still paper mache. Moving on though. We got the character article. And characters are going to be with units again. But the caveat being, it's kind of like declaring deep strikes or transports. You have to declare what unit the what unit the character is going to be a part of, and they are with that unit for the whole game until the unit obviously dies.
Yeah, interesting. They can't leave, which is what you usually could do. I mean, you could do that in Heresy. You
Mm-hmm.
could like join characters and leave, and I've rarely had times where the character left the unit. Usually, the character sticks. I mean, because when you build your list, right, you build the unit, you build the character. Sorry, you build the unit the character is going to be with to work with a character.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it's kind of hard to build around a character that would go back and forth. So, yeah, I don't that caveat where it stays. I have no issue with that. I think it makes the game also more simple because a lot of joining and leaving and all that. It just kind of gets janky in Heresy, and I'm glad they're avoiding that in 40k.
I just liked it because, it's like, oh no, there is only like 2 guys left in this unit. I better get my character to another unit where he'll be safe, kind of deal. But there's other
Right.
rules. But I mean, it's not a big deal because, like John said, usually when you put the character in the unit, they're usually gonna stay in that unit to the very end.
Yeah.
So that's the one caveat. What happens when they get in that unit? Well, just like previously, they give buffs. Well, they didn't use. No, I'm thinking of a different game system. I'm thinking of Star Wars Legion, uh, which is probably where they got this idea. In this edition, you give your unit that you're part of an abilities. So Primaris Lieutenant here no longer gives his what's it called? Rerolls. It's now gonna just be lethal hits that he'll give his entire unit, which was what, reroll ones to wound. Is that what lethal hits was?
I forgot. I think it's when you roll a 6 to hit, it's an auto wound. I think.
Either way, he's gonna be giving him that whole unit of blade guard, veteran, uh, veteran marines, anyone. Let's see. Just says equipped weapon, so it doesn't have to be melee. You put them in not space marine or not terminators. Pretty much anyone with his armor class, because they do specify that it has to be, the specific armor. Can't put a Phobos marine with a bunch of aggressors. But yeah, so that's what's gonna be happening. And then also gives them target priority. This unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in the turn in which it fell back. So it's gonna add a lot of dynamic, I think, with the game. Now that characters have to be locked into a unit.
It also makes the whole shenanigans with sniping and lookouts, sir, and being the closest and all that less janky.
Well, it makes snipers a lot more useful, right? Now that you can target characters and in the unit, makes
I mean,
them
you could do that before, right? But I mean, like the jankiness of like, oh, like the unit is invisible, so you can't target the character, like bodyguard stuff, kind of thing. You don't have to worry about that, and I get stuff like having to worry about who's closer, because I believe it's closest unit
right,
gets that. Like you don't have to worry about that, which is nice. It's just part of the unit.
right. And then obviously it tells you what unit the Primaris leader, Primaris lieutenant can be a part of, because it's got the leader keyword. Intercessors, blade guard, hell blasters, intercessors, blah blah blah. I think. Oh, and then they go into the other thing, the lone operatives, which are gonna be, your Vindicare assassins and all that. They pretty much have the same thing. A little different though. So anyone with the lone operative ability cannot be targeted by ranged attacks unless they are within 12 inches of the
I like that a
shots.
lot.
So this gives your, again, the only one that's coming into my mind right now, Vindicare. Better chances to survive. So if you wanted to run him and just sit him in the back corner to snipe from a far distance, he will not be shot at. Cannot be killed unless they get within 12 inches of him. Because, everyone else is too busy focusing on the hulking Space Marines charging at them with chainswords. And I think that's about it. Obviously, you got characters such as Shadow Sun and their drones. I don't think Shadow Sun has lone operative. Well, I'm trying to read this article really fast because I can't remember. I don't know. I don't think she'd be targeted, but I'll have to wait and see. But that is that. So characters coming back, buffing up units. Cool ability. I can't wait to see what we go here. Can't wait to see what kind of Death Stars are gonna be made.
Those are the best. I love Death Stars. Makes the game way easier.
And I do wonder if this is going to be limited to one character per squad kind of deal, or if you can really Death Star a unit by just jam-packing characters. Because one that comes to my mind is, as a Black Templar, I like to run the Judicar with Blade Guard and a Chaplain. So, I like to have a buffing character, a debuffing character, and then of course the Keely Blade Guard. So, could I make a unit of 6 happen right there, or will I is it only limited to one character per squad?
I'll be limited to one character to make it actually make a choice. Like then that way you can't just spam characters. You gotta actually take units for them to join. So if I was to make a bet, I would say that they have to join the unit. Or sorry, you can only have one character join a unit.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking, but it's not. I don't believe they say exactly in this article.
No, they do say that. It says most of the time only one leader can join each unit. But as you can see, there's an exception. Oh, actually, the lieutenant can join the squad as a captain. The captain can join, but they have to specify it. So the base rule is only one unit can join a character, or sorry, only one character can join a unit, unless stated otherwise. But we will have some exceptions.
Go. And the last article here, I believe, is making all phases count. So we're going to get into the phases. Command phase, movement phase, shooting phase, charge phase, fight phase. All the same. But this article mainly focuses on the psychic phase. And they give us an example with the librarian in Terminator armor. So it looks like, which we kind of gathered already, the psychic discipline trees, they're gone. And each psyker will have will have preset psychic powers. And it looks like a smite is not going to be a universal psychic power either. So, looking at the librarian here, we have his psychic ability Witchfire. Witchfire Smite, which 24 D6 attacks, and it looks like he has to hit with this, so 3+, strength 5, AP 1, D3 damage. So it looks like, I don't know how this is gonna work, if we have to cast anymore, because I don't see a warp charge value anywhere. It just has devastating wounds, hazardous, and psychic. So don't know how how denials are going to work on this one, but Smite is going to be his offensive ability, and then he has Veil of Time for his buff ability, which is when leading a unit. Weapons equipped by models in that unit have the Sustain Hit 1 ability. So it'll definitely make certain psychers a lot more favorable than others, but we'll have to wait and see what other psychers have what abilities. And I think it's good. I think it's good that Smite isn't going to be a universal thing where you're just going to have everyone just spamming it and having a bunch of random psychic powers that you have to keep track of, because as a Thousand Sun player, that was really annoying. I had to keep like a little paper on me, a little checklist to see who casted what, and that just took a lot, especially when as a Thousand Suns, each unit has a different spell just in case I need to utilize that certain spell. Now that everything is just going to be preset, one offensive, one buff ability, definitely a lot easier to keep track of. It definitely will make the time go a little bit faster. Also, it doesn't look like there'll be any restrictions on how many times you can cast a certain spell. Obviously, some will be limited depending on how powerful it is, but I don't think there's going to be that restriction like there was previous editions. Again, given certain spells. So that's the Librarian. His force weapon is psychic. You said that you can activate the force weapon to do more damage in exchange for probably taking more damage to himself. But it's that risk reward kind of deal. You buff your weapon to do critical damage for the chance of taking a little bit of damage yourself. So that's really good. And then they give an example again of another race here, the Weird Boy. So the Weird Boy is equipped with his classic The Jump, which is whatever unit he's attached with will be able to teleport across the battlefield. They did make this one a little bit more dangerous though, where he has to roll 1d6. If he rolls a 1 for the jump, he will suffer d6 mortal wounds. Or sorry, the Weird Boy unit will suffer d6 mortal wounds. So that could be a bit devastating. But I mean, that's orcs, right? It's all random, chaotic, goofy stuff that happens when they do their things. And for his offensive psychic power, he got Edbanger, which is precision and psychic, range 24, 1 attack, BS 4, strength 6, 1 damage, AP 3. And the thing that goes with this one is the Wa energy. While this model is leading a unit, add 1 to the strength and damage characteristic of this model's Edbanger weapon for every 5 models in that unit, rounding down. But while this unit contains 10 or more models, that weapon has the hazardous ability. So I don't know what hazardous is yet. I assume it's gonna be wacky stuff that'll hurt his unit or himself. But if this is a squad of 30, that's what? 5 models plus 1. So That'd be strength 12, damage 7. That's a pretty dangerous psychic ability right there. And if precision is sniping, that's a dead character right there. If that hits, of course. So, interesting stuff. So, it doesn't look like, also, given that we don't have a warp charge, doesn't look like miscasts. Perils of the Warp, thank you. Again, fantasy. Doesn't look like Perils of the Warp will be a thing either. So, which is fine. Perils of the Warp really, in my Warhammer career in 8th and 9th edition, didn't really happen that much. I mean, it happened to me, but Thousand Suns and Farseer players is just like, oh, well, I'll just command reroll that, or I'll just spend a command point to not suffer some Perils of the Warp. Like, oh, okay, cool. So it's not like Perils of the Warp was really that big of a thing. I don't know. Maybe someone can tell me how much they perils in their games, but from what I've seen, never really happened that much. So it's fine to get rid of that. I just wonder how it's going to happen.
I think it's just per psychic power, like for the weird boy, right? That if you roll a 1, you suffer d6 mortal wounds.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, I mean, maybe.
It seems like it's specific to powers now, which I think is more interesting.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that is that, I believe. Did they talk about anyone else? We got the Battle Shock, which objective control characteristics, models go down to 0, which is again kind of like Star Wars Legion, where you get super pinned.
Yep, you don't hold objectives when you're pinned or you're panicked.
And controlling player cannot use stratagems to affect that unit. Okay, so basically, they still get to do stuff. You just can't do any special abilities or anything on them, or use stratagems on them to get them moving. So, still not that big of a deal. But at least your models aren't running away. And having that real feels bad of where you roll unluckily and lose like 3 additional models.
Yeah, it seems that it just debuffs instead of actually losing models, which is an interesting take on it. You know, one day we'll get morale right in Warhammer, but I don't know if this is this edition. We'll see.
Yeah, well, that is all the 10th edition news. We've got 2 more articles to go through. Go by really fast. So, we got the 40k Terminator Librarian, and yeah. I don't know, compare this to the 30k one we just looked at. I like this one a lot more.
I think it's kind of funny that it's like almost the exact same. Okay, that's not exact, but it's a very similar pose to the other one, where axe on the other hand and arm outstretched with the hand open at the other hand. So I think that's kind of funny. But yeah, he looks super cool. Can I use him in Black Templars? So glad I'm doing Dark Angels, so I could use him. And yeah, I love the design.
I don't know. To me, I think the reason this looks better than the 30k one, I think it's just the paint design. The other one, I don't think the colors work too well, but
that's fair.
This one works a lot better.
It just sells the whole like beefiness, and it looks new. Like the Librarian again, like really just looks like a Praetor conversion at some point.
Mm-hmm.
This one looks like again, it harkens to the whole new Terminator bulkiness, and yeah, he seems huge. I mean, there's no comparison right now, but he seems like a beefy Space Marine, and yeah, and he's probably gonna be in the starter set.
He's definitely gonna be in the starter set. He's gonna be in that most expensive starter set, most likely.
Yeah, could be the case actually. I don't know. We'll see. It's gonna be we'll see how the starter set goes in this new era of starter sets.
Shall see. But yeah, very cool model. Last article, Warhammer Fest, happening in 2 weeks. And we got a schedule of what we're going to be looking at here. So Saturday, we got Warhammer 40k at 9, and then 3 hours later, we got Warcry, Middle Earth, and Underworld. Sunday, we'll have Age of Sigmar, 30k, and Old World. And Monday, we'll get to I got Tomb Kings on the brain. We'll have Kill Team on Monday. So, shall we do our predictions here?
Let's do it.
Kill Team. Let's start with Kill Team.
Probably a Tyranid kill team. I think.
Well, it's
I think
gonna
we're done with
be
this new season, so maybe probably a new season of Kill Team with a new big starter set like the last time.
yeah, it's gonna
With the
definitely
rules
be a
set
new Kill
for
Team
Tyranids.
since it's gonna be a new season. You think they're going to try to push a new kind of setting like they did with the Space
Probably.
Hulk?
Yeah, it probably won't be a Space Hulk. It'll probably be something else. So maybe back to the open fields, quote unquote. However, we could also just see.
I want jungle theme.
That would be cool. A jungle theme would be cool and unique. Like having more plants because we had buildings before. Yeah,
Cause
I would actually like a forest setting.
you know what GW's been lacking? Environmental terrain. All we get is spaceship and city ruins. Let's get some heavy trees and stuff. I know it's annoying. You can't move your models through them because they're all dense and they have to be glued in and stuff. But for 40k setting, I really can't remember the last time we got anything.
Yeah, it was like the Eldar Death World thing, which we still have models of,
That was what, back in 8th edition?
like seventh or eighth, I think eighth. But yeah, yeah, I think having more nature-like terrain, like plants and stuff, would be great for 40k. And I think Kill Team here will be an opportunity for that with a Tyranid Kill Team, because that's the only major faction without either a new White Dwarf rules based kill team or a just new models kill team.
I got it. It'll
As for the
be
enemy, it could be Space Marines. We also don't have like a standards. I mean, we have the intercessors that are free, and we have the Phobos, but I think having a generic Space Marine kind of kill team would be pretty cool.
I'm going to disagree with you on that one because in my mind I already know what the perfect kill team would be. We'll keep the Tyranids because, as you said, they don't have a kill team yet. Keep the Tyranids and they go against Catachins.
How would that be different from like veteran guardsmen? I guess I don't know. It just seems so redundant. I mean, it would be cool, but like you got so many human kill teams, which is kind of nuts, right? All these human kill teams that I'm complaining about. But yeah, there's just a lot of human kill teams. With the sniper, the medic, the heavy weapons guy. So I
Yeah,
think
I understand, but if I'm going to go with my wish of like a jungle theme kill team terrain set kind of thing, I feel like the Catachins would be the best choice.
yeah, Catachans would be cool. I also agree. In terms of theme, I would go with Catachans. But in terms of tying it with the edition, probably Space Marines.
I mean,
But if I
you're
had to pick,
probably right.
I would probably prefer Catachan to be honest, because that's just too cool to not do.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what John's hoping, but John's throwing his last with the Space Marines.
No, I'm gonna go Catachans.
All right, that's what I'm hoping for. Probably gonna be very disappointed, but
Yeah, it's okay.
it's fine. Let's see. Middle Earth. Let's do Middle Earth.
I don't know. They could do anything. I hope it's gonna be okay. Dream is plastic. Okay, plastic Sauron. I'll just say it. That would be dope. But I can't even make a realistic prediction because they can do anything from Middle Earth. I hope it's something cool. I hope it's not some lame like Lake Town type crap, and it's actually, new Gondorians or something. I don't know.
I
or
I
new
couldn't
elves
I couldn't really
warriors.
predict anything either. But you
Yeah.
know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say they're gonna say everything is gonna be converted to plastic coming soon. TM.
Hey, I wouldn't. I would. That would be nice.
You
That's a
know,
lot of resin and metal. A lot, and I mean a lot. So,
I
but
know.
New Games Workshop, I think, has the capacity to do it. So,
That's just what I'm gonna hope for because I really don't know what to predict for Middle Earth at this time. Age of Sigmar.
Cities of Sigmar, my dream army at the moment. I think they'll just reveal more models. Probably the next few books as well. But
I would
in terms
agree.
of major model reveal, I hope they're gonna have like a major model reveal for Cities of Sigmar because Seraphon is kind of done, and I think the minimum we'll see some characters in the new battle tomes. But my desire would be more Cities of Sigmar shown, like units and stuff.
I'm gonna hitch on your bandwagon there, and I'm gonna say Cities of Sigmar
Yeah.
because I think that's something that they're really gonna be hyping up. We'll probably see the next books that are coming out. They'll show a character, and then they'll show one thing of Cities of Sigmar, and I'm gonna say it's gonna be like very close up of a giant model who's gonna be Karl Franz. That's gonna be my guess.
Carl Franz.
Karl Franz.
Well, he's dead though. Like he's Sigmar. Carl Franz is Sigmar.
God damn it. All right then. I don't know my Empire lore, so I don't know what special character they would show off. But I'm gonna assume they're gonna show off some special character for.
Yeah, probably some new one. All the Empire ones are dead or Stormcast. So probably some new character, which would be neat. I would like that. Although, yeah, I think I don't. I with Cities of Sigmar is coming after 10th, so they could show more than just a unit. I hope, but I think realistically it'll probably show a unit or two, and that's it. Kind of like with Lizardmen and LVO, just a few units, not the whole range. So
Oh,
yeah,
LVO they showed quite a lot.
right, but it didn't show everything.
True.
So maybe an LVO level reveal.
Okay. Um, Warcry.
The next, the leaked ghouls and Stormcast box. Like that's it. I'm gonna be correct. I will declare that now.
All right. I don't know. I didn't. I didn't
Like
see this leak, but
yeah,
Stormcast and ghouls,
and
huh?
ghouls. Yep.
Interesting choice. All right then. I just hope for more normal humans who are worshiping chaos gods models because I think those always look really nice. So I'm just gonna hitch myself to generic Zinch cultists.
Never a bad idea.
That's what I'm gonna go with. Underworlds. I mean, can't be as disappointing as the Daughters of Cain. So, I mean, I hope
More Cities of Sigmar. More regular humans that
more
worship
regular
Sigmar
humans.
and not chaos.
Okay. I'm gonna go with. I want to go with Sylvaneth.
Oh, that'd be cool. I would like that.
I'm gonna go with Sylvaneth because I feel like you can do a lot of cool things with Sylvaneth. So maybe Deepkin.
Oh, I would also like that.
We need something to rival the crab. Maybe a lobster. So we got that. 30K. What are you hoping for, John?
Classic infantry. Like, just give it to us, guys. Like, please give us classic infantry. Like, come on.
I'm not gonna throw my lots because I don't really know anything.
Like, classic infantry.
Old World.
Ooh,
This will be a big one.
ooh. Any new model, like literally any new model, I will be kind of excited. Honestly, even if it's just the old Tomb Kings coming back, like I'm fine with that. That would be great.
I think they're gonna talk about it a lot. I think they're gonna drop a date.
That would be nuts if they have like 2024.
I don't think it'll be 2024, but I think they're gonna give us a date. That's gonna be the big news, and then we're gonna start getting like Old World Wednesday content. That's a free one for you, GW. You can use that one.
Yeah.
And then 40K.
The 10th edition box set.
It's just gonna be 10th edition box set, 10th edition cinematic trailer for it, and then
probably we already had that, so.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Probably 10th edition box set.
So I was just going through the bullet points. And then all the rules being dumped because we're gonna be able to play. If you go to Warhammer Fest, you're gonna be able to play Warhammer 10th edition at Warhammer Fest. So it's gonna be a lot more of the rules out there, and we'll get a better understanding on how the gameplay will be. Even though I feel like with the articles we have a pretty good understanding, but we'll see how the missions are firsthand as well. And I think that's everything, right? I didn't miss anything.
I believe that is it.
Oh, and then we got what's all this down here? Demoing all these games, all these video games down here, which I think are already out. So, kind of weird, except Bolt Gun.
Actually, some of these aren't out. Like Rogue Trader is pretty hype. So I think Rogue Trader Bolt Gun will be kind of cool. Space Marine 2. If we have the release date for that, if they tie it with the new set, that would be crazy.
Space Marine 2's not on here though.
They do mention, they say it's on the text. It says Space Marine 2 Collector's Edition statue will be revealed. Yeah, Rogue Trader is pretty hype. It's like a classic a CRPG set in 40K. I actually probably will just pick that up on launch if it's not absolute garbage, because I do like that premise. And Maledictum is a new RPG that focuses on investigation, so huge de-emphasis on combat and just more like figuring stuff out. I think if I was going to play 40K RPG again, I would probably be this. It's a pen and paper RPG. But yeah, I'm in the mood. I am in the mood for more exploration and investigation in a 40K RPG rather than just more combat, which you can get from the tabletop game and Kill Team.
Yeah. I'm just surprised to see, Gladius, Battle Sector, Horus Heresy Legions. I'm pretty sure it's already out.
Yeah, all those other games are kind of out. Combat Cards is out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there we go. That is all the Warhammer news. Come back in, 2 weeks, and you'll see how 100% right we were on our predictions on everything that came out.
Yes.
Yeah, that's everything. Let's just quickly go over our hobbies. Actually, you know what? I did forget one article. I'm just gonna quickly go over this. I'm not gonna say too much about it. There is the final balance sheet for 40K 9th edition that came out, and I don't really care. I don't care enough to go over it. I'm just gonna mention that it's out, because like I said last week, I'm kind of just taking a break from 40K because I want to be hyped and refreshed for 40K when 10th edition drops. So I didn't really read into any of the balance changes, but in the end, none of that stuff's really gonna matter unless you're going into tournament play in the months coming up to 10th edition.
Right.
But yeah, that did drop as well. All right, hobby rant style. I didn't really do anything. I didn't really I got some painting done, but not a lot. I was just really busy with work this week, which sucks. Didn't even get to play any of the games that I would want to play. So no Star Wars Legion, no 40K, well, no Shadows of Brimstone, no Warcry, no Kill Team.
Dang.
Just build a couple models here and there, paint one model this week, and that was it. I was way too busy this week.
That is fair. It does. We do get busy.
What about you? How's
Was
Mr. I
actually
mean, every single Star Wars Legion league out there going?
well more like every 30K league. So I think did I get a Legion game? I don't think so. But a 30K game, and they played. Yeah, it was for another 30K league at Gameology, and I kind of won in 2 turns. I I won the Dreadnought fight, and in like 1,000 point Zone Mortalis game, if your Dreadnought kills the enemy Dreadnought and takes less than 2 wounds in return, you probably win the game because they probably only have a Dreadnought and probably don't have many things that can take out a Dreadnought. And I had my Galvor back and Argoltal engaging his Terminators, so yeah, that was game. So I got my league points there and played another game, just a rematch, and changed my list up a bit. And that was super close, actually. I think he won by having a dude on the objective while I only was able to kill his warlords. Literally, the last turn, he had 1 tactical marine left. And I only had Argoltal left. So that was a super fun, super close game. Played that. I actually won the Geeky Tees 30K league, so shout out to Geeky Tees. Thank you for the prize. I got a Spartan and 20 TAC Marines new in box, so that was very generous of them. But yeah, I got first place in that super fun league, just kind of playing with my Mechanicum to herald the launch of the new edition. But yeah, that was that. Trying to finish some more word bearers and trying to find time to play some Legion to practice for the May tournament at Geeky Tees. So yeah, we'll see if I'm pretty busy this week, but we'll see if I'll try to get some games in and kind of practice a list I want to try. Empire list. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think tomorrow, being Wednesday, my group and I are gonna play some Warcry. So
Ooh, nice.
get them into, try to get them into the AOS system over there.
Yeah.
I don't like playing against the balloon dwarves. Those guns are too powerful, man.
Yeah.
But that's what he has. He has the balloon dwarves. So my poor whatever chaos warband I decide to run that day, running across that battlefield, just getting blown to bits. So sad. So I guess I have to get the new book. I have not bought
A new Warcry book.
the newest Warcry edition book. The one where you have like reactions and stuff.
I think the rules are free online. Their book just has like missions and stuff.
Got it. Alright, so I guess I gotta find that. Download that stuff and get that stuff ready. If I'm gonna teach them how to play the game. But yeah, that's what we're planning to do tomorrow. So it should be fun. I've stated in the past, I've always thought Warcry, very solid game system. So I'm always excited when there's more Warcry on the way.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll call it there. I'd like to thank everyone who made it to the end. And we'll see you next time.
Hey everyone.